Well, it's time for another update on the Hurricane Idalia that's coming to Florida's Gulf Coast. So I thought I'd just touch base back with you and let you know what's going on right now. We're in between rain showers, so I thought I'd pop out here and shoot a short video just to give you an idea of what's going on. And you can see from here, let me show you a couple of different segments from today's broadcast. So this one was done earlier this morning, probably around 10 o'clock.
With 100-mile-per-hour winds as it lifts northward up through areas just about near Alligator Alley. And then during the overnight tonight, a major hurricane, Category 3, with 120-mile-an-hour winds, 150-mile-an-hour wind gusts. At that point, it should be roughly 100 miles offshore.
And then this one was done recently this afternoon, about 5:15, just so I could try and give you a current update as to what's going on now today.
A lot of focus gets to the wind, right? But it's the water that causes the most problems. The hurricane itself has many variables to it, but the storm surge, we saw it last year with Ian as it roared ashore there in Fort Myers Beach with a 15-foot storm surge. This one is going to be just as devastating, I think, into the Big Bend area. It will cause problems here with storm surge, but we're looking at that right now, 3 to 5 foot storm surge near Anna Maria Island, a little less as you push down the coast toward Inglewood, but we are all under again, storm surge warning.
Now, today is the 29th of August, so it is Tuesday, and it's kind of scheduled to be rough here maybe around 1 or 2 o'clock early Wednesday morning, so that's when they're predicting the hurricane to have the most effect on our area. Now, I feel like it's pushed a little further out into the Gulf. It's going to go up into the Big Bend area. I'm a little concerned with the people around Cedar Key and St. Mark's in that area. I've done a lot of fishing up there with my brothers. We go up there on a pretty regular basis, and I do not look forward to seeing what happens to that area of Florida's Gulf Coast. Now, there was a mandatory evacuation for Zone A. Now, Zone A is for anybody in mobile homes, RV parks, and also that are directly on the coast. So places like Anna Maria Island, Holmes Beach, Bradenton Beach, Longboat Key, all of those people were told to evacuate today, and hopefully they have done so, because the storm surge, even if it's 3 to 5 feet, will put a lot of those places underwater. As you can see right here, this is the evacuation map. So Zone A is under evacuation, and you can see it goes B, C, D, and it goes all the way up to E and F. And if you look here, Lakewood Ranch is not in that area. Now, there's a part of Braden River that comes just a little bit into Lakewood Ranch over near Moat Ranch. And that section is probably the area that we see here that would be considered to be in one of the evacuation zones. But a majority of Lakewood Ranch is not in an evacuation zone. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't get issues, because it depends on how much rain we get and also what the wind speed is when it hits our area. Now, some of you might be wondering what happens to people that are under contract or ready for a closing. Well, I happen to be experiencing that. I had 3 closings lined up for this week, and all of them have been postponed. In a standard contract for a resale, there is a section in the contract called force majeure, and it happens to do with these types of situations where you have a hurricane, if you had massive tornadoes that knocked out services. So it's any service interruption to standard business practices is when force majeure comes into play. So because we had a couple of closings scheduled, they have been pushed out. And you have up to 7 days after businesses have started back to operating as normal, so that you can continue with the transaction. It does not have to be agreed to by both parties. Maybe the closing date when you change the closing date to the new closing date, that might be, but force majeure carries the weight of having contracts extended when we have things like hurricanes. So I will keep you updated the best that I can, and tomorrow I'll bring on another video so we can see what has happened, if it actually did hit land, where it actually hit, and what the ramifications of that were. Mark Boehmig, Michael Saunders and Company.